Hey there, comic book friends! I'm Travis, and it's New Comic Book Day, or at least New Comic Book Day for me. Yay! And a little bit of What the Fugue thrown in. Of course, this weekend is San Diego Comic-Con. Big announcements come out of that sometimes. There have been a few announcements. I'm not really keeping up with most of it, to be quite honest. You may see me talk about them here and there as the week goes on, as I digest what's there and bother to look to see what it all is. I'm not sitting around watching panels via the internet and ascertain exactly what is going on with all the companies and whatnot. I will say this though, just happen to be looking at Twitter, surfing Twitter. I don't follow any Marvel execs or high editors or any of that kind of stuff because they all kind of irritate me at some point or another. I don't follow any DC ones either, to be quite honest. But I see that Stephen Wacker was on basically scolding fans for complaining about events, because every comic book is an event. If it didn't have an event in it, it would be a boring comic book. So clearly he's choosing to be either, snotty and obtuse to what one of the things the fan base is complaining about, the ad nauseum events that we all know what events are. And for him to act like that events are something different than what we're describing is it's pretty crappy. I think it's pretty crappy to the fans. I really think that Marvel especially needs to put something in writing in everybody's contracts that says that they can't address the public in generalities. Because they do a horrible job of it. They do a horrible job of it all the time. Anyway, annoying, frustrating, just makes me irritated with Marvel in general. Maybe that's unfair. That's kind of where I come from. That's my personal experience, probably for the last at least 10 years, that Marvel management just says lots of shitty things that make me decide I don't really care to be that much of a Marvel fan. I read the Marvel books that are interested in me, but as far as them as a company, I think they're kind of crappy. I call DC crap when DC does crappy stuff, but it always feels to me like that Marvel upper management is kind of bitter and ugly. I've gone to cons, I've been at panels where they have been bitter and ugly, where they've said really crappy things about other people, and I don't think there's a need for that. Whether you're competitors or not, let your books do the talking. There's no reason for all the other shit talk that goes on, and to treat the fan base to act that way just seems kind of crappy to me too. So it just kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth. Comics. It's gonna be a comic roundtable. We'll be a comic channel this week. Clearly, last week I did this video and I said, hey, there's no comic roundtable. I will talk about my books though. And here I am the next week, and I haven't talked about those books. I got them read just to get around to doing a video on it. Was kind of waiting for this embodied voice to finish reading them. She finished late last night, so I'm throwing her under the bus, the disembodied voice under the bus. It's her fault that we didn't put on a video. I may go back and talk about those down the road. I've been monkeying with my I use CLZ Comics, the app, and the desktop to keep my comic books cataloged. I've been itching to do some other different kinds of videos, but I kind of wanted to have the ability to randomly select a comic from my comic book collection. And I've been poking around, asked some questions of other people who use the app, and I finally figured out how to be able to see what is all in my collection by number. It's gonna put them. It's organizing it by the first comic I put in to the last comic I put in, as far as so no order as far as that goes. But now I can actually pick a random number between 1 and say 10,000 and be able to go to my collection and see what that that number is, what comic corresponds to that number, then go to my collection and pull that out. So I kind of am thinking about two different things. One, just randomly doing a review of, of whatever book is in my collection. It could end up being a brand new book that I've just read and just talked about, or it could end up being some stupid, weird, obscure thing like a Sean Reyes comic, for instance. So not stupid, just that random of a comic, because I do have those in my app. So it could be that, and so either do an old review of a full comic, or I'm also thinking about doing really short videos on first pages of comics, just the first page. Just looking at that. So either do both of those or one of those. I haven't decided yet, and how often I'm going to do them. At one point, I initially thought about starting this at the beginning of the year, and I really thought about doing a front page, first page every day for a year. Clearly, I want to record a whole bunch of them out in front, and I may still do that. I don't know how annoying that would be, though, for me to pop up with I don't know. I would like to keep it like 5 minutes, a 5-minute video on or less every day for me. Chase away more subscribers. Anyway, I don't know. Let's talk some comics. Let's talk this week's comics. This week I got 20 comics. One of them is a comic that I had not gotten 2 or 3 weeks ago. Is my Letter 44. They got shorted copies. So it took a while for them to get more copies in to get me my copy. So, yeah. So 19 for this week, and then that 20th one, which is an old one. So start out with Ms. Marvel, issue number 20. I like this character, this adversary that she has. I've been not as excited about the book. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to read through this arc and make a decision as to whether I'm reaching a point where I'm just kind of getting tired of Ms. Marvel or what. I still think it's an enjoyable comic. I think we're starting to dip more into the territory. The book isn't really geared towards me, so I'm less, I'm less excited about it because it doesn't hit all the quote unquote sweet spots that a lot of other books do. So we'll see how this all, how it all pans out. Next up, I don't know if you can hear it tearing around. My cats have suddenly decided to go nuts. Run around. Anyway, next up we have Sisters of Sorrow. It's Boom Studio. This is a miniseries, I believe. This is issue number 1. How can you turn down nuns of Uzis, right? So the premise of the story is crime is rampant wherever this is at, of course. And these women are tired of being beat up, abused, murdered, and killed, and all that thing. So they decide to form basically a vigilante group. And as a vigilante group, they dress up as nuns. This is written by, it says Sisters of Sorrow. Kurt Seuster is attached to the Sons of Anarchy TV show, which I've seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Just I've never really gotten around to watching it. But we'll see. I mean, I love the cover art, so I had no idea exactly what the art inside is like. Courtney Alameda, and a name Korean, I believe, that I'm not even going to attempt to say. Oh, sure I will. Ha-Yeon-Jin Kim, I guess could be Chinese. I don't know, clearly. And Jean-Paul Suka. So, I don't know who all does that. We got nothing but time, right? You're going to watch this whole video. Let's open it up and see what it looks like inside. Let's see. Okay, so Courtney Alamanda is one of the writers. It is illustrated by Kim. Last name Kim. And the reason the cover art is awesome is the cover art is by Jia Li and June Chung. So, there you go. That would be why it looks so cool. Anyway, art looks, somewhat decent in it. So we'll see what. Oh, yeah, I like the colors of that. Driving at night, riding motorcycles and stuff. Yeah, some pretty good crashes in there and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what that ends up being like. I'm kind of curious. Like I said, the cover appealed to me. Bought it more on that than anything else. Royal City issue number 5. Ooh, I wonder if we're going to get some dad story in this issue. As of last issue, issue number 4, super excited about this comic book. I don't know how many more issues are left of this arc. Then, of course, we'll take somewhat of a break and then come back with a new arc with some different kind of stuff. But Jeff Lemire, at this point, this is such a solid story. The writing, the storytelling, I can just call it writing. The storytelling in it has been amazing. The kind of approach to questioning things about life and whatnot have just been really, 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 really good. So, Super Sons, Planet of the Capes, Part 1. It looks like they're gonna crash on party crash on the Teen Titans. And I'm super excited about that. This book has just been super fun. Super fun. Tomasi and Jimenez have just been knocking out of the park. This book is just a joy to read. I laughed through it. It's got some good, kind of poignant stuff without being over the top. It's not cheesy. It's just really, really fun. Teenagers doing superhero antics and dealing with what it would be like to be a young youth as a superhero with parents who are Batman and Superman, right? I mean, that is the other part of it. So pretty cool. Declaration Part 1, new arc of Superman. Tomasi and Gleason are back writing it. Super excited about that. Golitsky is still on art. Last issue was a little, okay. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I like his art in general, so maybe this will grow on me. I just got used to it before. Looking forward to the story. I don't know. They're leaving the farm behind. They're going to live in Metropolis. So we'll see what that ends up being like. If that's what this is part of or not. But definitely looking forward to reading it. As a general rule, Superman is way at the top of my list of books to read. Which is still strange to say. This many issues in. Okay, Trinity, Dead Space. This is more of the Dead Space. It's all Francis Manipool writing this. The Watchtower has been basically blown up. There's holes in it all over the place. We got this guy who is menacing everybody. Cyborg is like completely busted up. He's almost like a bomb, or he's about ready to die. They're trying to get him someplace so they can get him rebooted so he doesn't die. It's been interesting. It's been gorgeous to look at, and it's fun. Excuse me. Trinity's one of those books that's always kind of on the edge. I'm enjoying it more again, so we'll hang on to it for now, because I like the idea of telling stories with the Trinity. I should have made some tea before I started this. Wildstorm, issue number 6. More wonderful Warren Ellis and John Davis Hunt comic. The book is really coming together. All the bits and pieces are starting to really kind of mesh and jive together. They did announce this week or last week, that the Cray book is going to be coming out. I can't remember the creators that are working on it right off the top of my head, but I'm going to get that. Cray is the character in here. He's the kind of like, he does the wet work for this, for one of the corporate entities. And at the end of last issue, he was starting to question why it was that he was doing that wet work, because the person they were wanting him to wipe out, from all he could tell by doing his own legwork to find out more about that person, was that they were a decent human being and was suspect now of his employers. So that's going to be the first spin-off book. I'm definitely going to be getting it. It's not written by Warren Ellis. I believe that Warren Ellis kind of still oversees it. I'm curious to learn more about that guy in particular, because he's got a terminal illness. Maybe. I don't know. I'm suspicious that maybe he doesn't have a terminal illness. But anyway, he has a terminal illness. I'm sure that influences the decisions that you make in life. And I'm curious to see what that ends up being. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Bitch Planet, triple feature, number 2, I believe. Yeah, number 2. A Bitch Planet triple feature. So, 3 more big stories set in the world of Bitch Planet, where the patriarchy has been taken to the extreme. and so we can explore some more of that. What's love got to do with it? Is it good for you? Bits and pieces. So we got stories by Jordan Clark and Naomi Franzquez, and then a story by Daniel Henderson and Rose Stein and Ted Brandt, and then a story by Che Grayson and Sharon Lee De La Cruz. So I kind of enjoyed the first one. It was fun just kind of seeing a dabble in this world. So I'll read this one too. Probably enjoy it. I like them kind of exploring that world. Girl Scouts, the Magic Socks. This is issue number 3. I think there's one more issue after this. I'm mostly getting it for the Jim Manford art. There's occasionally some problematic for me characters in the book. So I don't know. There's one more issue left, so clearly I'm just going to finish it out. Like I said, love the art style, love the crazy art style, the kookiness of that and whatnot. There's some racial slurs in some of the issues that I don't know. Not sure how I feel about their use. Not that I'm opposed to them being used. I just think some of them, to use them, you kind of have to have a background appropriate to use it. I don't know. Like I said, not 100% know how I feel on that. Haven't sorted that out. That's why I'm still getting the book, obviously. Insects, issue number 12. Wow, whole year of Insects now. I wouldn't have thought this book would have made it past, issue 5. I continue to find it fun and interesting. So I continue to get it. We're finishing off a Gorgon here in this one, clearly. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, it should be the end of the arc and whatnot. I'm also not sure what's happening because I've seen that that the artist is going to be doing some work on another book. So I don't know if this is on hiatus while she does that other work, or if this has come to an end. Marguerite Bennett certainly puts out a lot of books for Aftershock. She's got this plus 3 Animosity books, all from Aftershocks, plus all the other stuff that she's doing. So I don't know if this is coming to an end or it goes on a break or exactly what. I guess we'll find out. I continue to read it because I continue to find it amusing, not mind-blowing, but fun and amusing. Oh, speaking of fun and amusing, Shaolin Cowboy issue number 4. There you got those wonderful dogs with the forearms that are made of knives, and of course, the Shaolin Cowboy is swinging them around like nunchucks at the end of the last issue, which was pretty awesome. Just a great book, full of violence and all kinds of craziness and hyper detail of Darrow's work. Just makes it all kinds of crazy fun. Issue 2 of Winnebago Graveyard. I wasn't super stoked by the story of the first issue, but I really continue to love the artwork. This Samson woman is a beautiful artist. Really like her designs, the style, her layouts, her proportions, and all that kind of stuff. I just really enjoy. So yeah, I'm gonna check it out for the art. Nothing else. Should be some good fun. Next up, we have a new book, GG, Generations Gone. This is the new Alex Ducat, Alice, E-L-A-L-E-S, and it's not an umlaut, but some other caret above it. I don't know. I really should make it a point of asking him how to pronounce it. Caught Andre Lima Argero, I'm assuming is our artist. So new comic book about the generation of superheroes, I believe. I think it's a superhero book. I don't know. Pretty much when Cop puts out a book, I buy it and just explore whatever the adventure is going to be, because sometimes it's really strange and really random. So looking forward to reading that. It'll be at the top of my list, I am sure. Issue number 25 of Nightwing, more blockbuster story. Exercise anniversary issue. So I paid $1 more for a story I haven't been really that excited about. So we'll see. I don't know. I am for sure dropping Nightwing now. I heard that coming up, there's a crossover between like 3 or 4 different comics, all having to do with the DC metal event that's going on. I'm not getting in the middle of an event. I'm boycotting all events. And if it's going to muck around with the regular storylines again, I'm going to start, if there's any problems with those books or I'm not super enjoying it, I'm not going to ride out it jacking up a storyline. So, yeah, I'm going to quit ordering Nightwing. So I'll have 3 or 4 more issues. I still have to order, this weekend, but I won't be on the list this weekend. So, done with that. Was on the edge, and that blew it up. So, Lazarus X, I don't know, is it X plus 66 or is it X 66? So, it's the new Lazarus book. This is one of 6. For anybody who doesn't remember the regular Lazarus book, the artist on that, Lark, needed to take a break from doing this. He's been working on it for like 3 or 4 years straight now. He just needed a break from it all to regenerate and whatnot and rejuvenate. He's not done with the book. He's adamantly wrote, like a whole 1-page thing talking about the fact that he's not walking away from the book. He just needs this. And, to satisfy us fans and customers, and because there's so much world that can be explored, Rucka is going on with some other creators. In this issue, the art is done by Leiber, who does the art for like The Fix and Superior Foes of Spider-Man, as far as some of the artwork that he's done. He's doing this issue. There's some other guest artists that'll be along the way through this as they tell some stories about some of the other casts of characters that are in the book. So looking forward to that. Really love this world that's been created. I mean, it's depressing as hell and all kinds of stuff like that, but really fascinating and really entertaining to read stories in. So whatever it's going to be as far as Lazarus stuff goes, looking forward to that and seeing what that's going to be. Next up, we have Batwoman. This is issue number 5. Before she was Batwoman, Kate Kane broke bad. So Bennett, Tinian are still both on the cover as creators. I'm looking forward to Tinian's name dropping off so we can just get Margaret Bennett and find out exactly what Marguerite by herself really wants to do. And this issue I'm super excited about because the art is by Hans. I really like Hans' art style, especially the way she paints reds and stuff like that. So with Kate's red flowing hair and whatnot, I expect this just to be a gorgeous, gorgeous book. And super excited about that. And I'm betting with the 2 of them on the book also, it's going to be gay as hell, which will be fun to really get to see, the character embrace that aspect of her life. So looking forward to all of that. Kate Carson has a cybernetic eye. Issue number 10. As always, I really enjoy this. I think it's just a fun read. We'll see what alternate universe they're in now and how that ends up screwing them up. Bretonia. For We Are About to Die, issue number 4. This is the final of this story arc. I'm assuming our first detective versus this witch, medicine woman, whatever you want to call her, who has figured out how to kind of make people go kind of crazy, and then people get murdered and whatnot. So we're kind of coming down to the actual crime itself and solving it. So in this issue, so looking forward to that. Finishing that off. Another book I'm actually really excited about is Batman, issue number 27. More of the War of Jokes and Riddles. War of the Jokes and Riddles interlude. This has got Man on art. I'm not a big Man fan. I think some of his pages and page layouts are confusing and messy. But we'll see. My understanding is this whole issue is Kite Man. That kind of sets up how some of this stuff happens. So I'm all for that. Really been enjoying this. So we'll see how an issue with a different artist works for me, though. So, and finally, as I talked about at the beginning of this, issue number 34 of Letter 44. As you can see, there's a busted up planet there. I'm assuming that is planet Earth. This is the penultimate issue. Next issue I get is the end of it all. So we'll see how that all works out. Looking forward to seeing what that is. That's my comics this week. I'm going to sit down, drink some tea, read some books, and I will be back here tomorrow night for Comic Book Roundtable. Till then, everybody have a great one.